Can you tell us a little bit about your father and your upbringing? Because a lot of people always ask, well, Andrew, how'd you get these world views? Why do you view the world the way that you do? And I'm a firm believer that obviously, your parents have a huge impact on you as far as how you view the world. And your dad had a very interesting background.
My dad was the OG. And I actually put something on Twitter the other day that went viral and pissed everyone off. Why is it everything I say annoys everybody? I'm just trying to live my life.
No spoilers.
And I just try and say something and everyone's like, what? Nah. So I said the other day that any child who's obsessed with superheroes, that's a warning sign to the father. And the warning sign is that when I was a child, the only superhero I was interested in talking to or being around was my dad. Like if I watched Batman and I go to my dad and say, hey, do you see what Batman did? My dad would sit me down and go, fuck that. Listen to what I've done. My dad was my hero in every way. I had no interest in fiction because I had a real life superhero. Until the day he died, I viewed him as a superhero. So my dad was an exceptional character and he raised me in an exceptional manner. And although there's too many stories to tell, the one thing my father was fantastic at was prioritizing the mindset of my brother and I above even his relationship with my mother. So, because there's so many dudes who end up being cucked out in their own household because they don't want to argue with the wife, and the sons see that shit. I was never raised around that. My dad would disappear to chess tournaments for 2 months. He'd go off. My father was one of the best chess players in the world.
Right.
This is before like cell phones and stuff, right? So he'd call home twice a week, whatever. He's gone for 2 months. He walks in the door. My mom's like, Emery, where you been? It's been 2 months. I don't know where you've been. What is this? I've gone through your clothes. There's a picture of some bitch in your da-da-da. And my dad had been home for 42 minutes. And he'd just go, sorry, son, she won't shut up. Walked out again. See you in 2 months.
Whoa.
That's just who he was. He's like, I ain't sitting there taking shit off a bitch. That's it. I'm not going to take it. Doesn't matter if she's your mother. I love your mother. I love you. I'm not sitting here taking shit. And it's kind of like you grow up around that. And now when I come home after 2 months and she's trying to say, where you been? You've been in Fresh and Fit podcast. I watched the podcast. You with all them girls. I'm like, bitch, I'm going to go back to Miami, man. Shut up. So yeah, I was raised around. I had a fantastic upbringing. I can't say anything bad about either of my parents. My mother as well. I was raised with no money and good parents. And that's the best way you can possibly be raised.
Same here, man.
Best way you can be raised.
Your father